Quickly talk through a question that I got. Now, if you have a question, you can actually text me. It's 402-256-0768. I'll put the number below somewhere. But I love getting text messages because it's really easy for me to kind of keep track of those and respond to those. And today's question was, how do you get so much done? I can't keep up with my charts and give my kids a kiss goodnight without the mental tug of looming work once they are in bed. It's so defeating. I hear versions of this every darn day from physicians everywhere because there's just so much on your plate. And you might try reading time management books, or I got like a load of them back here, Atomic Habits and um, Crushing It and Margin and Unselfie, all these books back here that you might think, okay, I can just read this and then I'll have the skills. Well, I think physicians are a little bit different in that we have call responsibilities. We have patients that are counting on us. We have things that just don't fit nicely into the like, well, just do this and then you'll have time to do that because you might get a phone call in the evening or a text message from, a colleague that needs your help, or you have call or your post call, or all the different things that go on that make things a little bit more challenging for physicians to find the time that they need. And then you have charts and documentation and messages to return on top of seeing patients. And it's just like it adds up to a lot to try and handle on a regular basis. And it can be very defeating because you feel like I'm drowning and I'm not keeping up. And they just keep pouring more water into the swimming pool or ocean that I'm drowning in. And it's really hard to not just, if I took a mental health day, well, then I would have 40 messages or 400 messages to get back to from people. And how do I stay afloat? And I don't have all the answers, but I have some ideas on things that have really worked for me to get more done. And as this person that texted me said, like, I do feel like I get quite a bit done. I have a couple podcasts that I do. I create these videos for both physicians, and then I have kind of a side where I talk to parents and answer parenting questions and stuff like that. And the reason that I'm able to do those things, and go home and relax in the evening and make dinner and hang out with my family and just relax with my wife in the evening is because I've really tried to be intentional about the things that I do spend my time on and really focus on the things that only I can do, and then really focus on practicing time management. Time management and having good time management is like exercise. You have to keep doing it. Like you can't just get really good at doing your Peloton bike or lifting weights or something like that and be like, great, I'm done with it. It's something that you have to put time and energy into to see the return on the investment. So I just really wanted to walk through one thing that I've been doing for the past 6 months that's really made a difference for me, and it's called time blocking. Essentially, with time blocking, what you're doing is you are very specifically saying what you're going to do during that period of time. The thing that I love about it is it helps me know what's coming up, and then I can literally look at my watch and I can see at this moment I'm supposed to record a video about time blocking, and that's what's on my calendar for this very moment. Or at 6:45 in the morning it changes to on my watch and it says make breakfast, or make phone calls or write thank you notes or whatever it might be. And so this helps me just to stay on track, because anytime I'm like, well, what should I do? Maybe I can surf the internet or look on Twitter or whatnot. I just look at my watch and say, okay, right now I'm supposed to be making breakfast. Right now I'm supposed to be showering. And when you put stuff like showering on there, you actually do it. And it's like one of those to-do list items that you add to the to-do list that you already know that you're going to do just so you can check it off. It actually feels good to be like, okay, I was supposed to shower at 6 in the morning and I am showering. And so that feels pretty good to be doing that. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Now, I'm going to actually use my own calendar here. So let me just do this. Okay, so here's a day last week. And you can see exactly what I do here. I don't set everything to give me alerts because I try and limit my alerts and notifications. But I know that when I look at my watch, I'll see these things. If it's something that I make sure that I have to do, then I definitely do turn an alert on so I get alerted to it. Otherwise, I would just get bombarded with alerts. I'd get fatigued from alerts and not do them anymore. And so I try and limit the alerts, but I do look at my watch a lot just to see what I'm supposed to be doing. And like I've said on other videos, I wake up early. And so if you don't wake up early, I'd start waking up earlier. You will love it once you get into the habit of it. I used to get up at like 6:30, or I'd wake up with the kids, and then it'd be a fire drill until it was time for me to leave, and yelling and all those different things that go along with waking up around the same time as your kids. Now I wake up at 4:40. I have time to pray. I have time to drink my coffee in peace. I have time to think about my day. I have time to plan my schedule, and then I have time to get stuff done, exercise, shower, all before the kids are even awake, which is just amazing. And like people say, well, I can't do that. Well, you just have to go to bed early enough. And we go to bed between 9:30 and 10 o'clock every night so that I can get a good 6.5, 7 hours of sleep and be good for the next day. And it works like amazing. So my day starts at 5 a.m. and you'll see on here, oops, there, now you can see. I am in the process of writing a parenting book, so I spend 30 minutes working on that, and that's what I do during that time. I also make it impossible to get distracted. My screen times settings are so that I can't get on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or email or anything like that before 6:30 in the morning so that I can't get distracted from that. On my computer, I use this app that I can do a video on sometime. It's called Hey Focus. But it locks down all the social media sites and my Gmail and my email and everything like that so that there's no distractions in the morning so that I can't like get on an email or get on Facebook and end up reading comments for 30 minutes. I literally have nothing else to do other than to exercise and to use Google Docs to work on writing my book. At 5:30, I have exercise, and on Thursday, the December 17th, I was doing weights and then showering. And then at 6, I have a little house project, which means just like some task around the house. Maybe it's wrapping Christmas presents if it's that season, or tidying up, or something along those lines, doing dishes, whatever I need to do. I have ad work on here, which is like Facebook ads. I use Facebook ads to get more traffic to my parenting platform, and so that's what I was working on then. And at 6:45, I'm having breakfast. And then I just kind of have a gap in here. I know during this time I'm eating breakfast with the family. We kind of do like a gospel reading sort of thing over breakfast, and then help get the kids ready, and then I head to work. And you can see the rest of my day is really already planned out. Like I have appointments on here. These are Zoom appointments with people. I probably shouldn't show those. I've got a meeting on here. I don't usually put my whole work schedule on here because I know what hours I might work. I'll show you another day here. So this was last Friday. I again have my like morning routine, and I try and get as much done in the morning as I can. I got some phone calls on here in between time, and then the rest of my day is looking pretty good. This is, let me just go back to another day and show you some other days. So basically what I do, so here's another example. Book work, exercise, thank you notes, sign off notes. And so here's a reminder, I'm in clinic at this time, but one of the things that I want to do on Wednesdays is remember to make sure and look back and make sure that I've signed off every note so that there's nothing left from the previous few days that I didn't get to, or that I forgot to sign or forgot to do something for. And so Wednesdays, I make sure, and every time I look at my watch during clinic, I'm like, oh yeah, sign off notes. So in between seeing patients, I can just go sign off notes. So that's what I do there. If I want to add something, like I use a daily calendar, and I can say like breakfast with kids if I wanted to have that on here. This is an app that I use called Fantastical. You can just use Google Calendar. This is actually, the only reason that I use this is because it allows me to mend my Exchange calendar with my Google Calendars so that everything's in one place. That's basically how I do time blocking. So anything that I can do, I will put it on here. Maybe it's just a 15-minute project of like take out trash. You know, we got to take all our trash out to the curb and everything like that. I'll put that on there so that I'm reminded to do that. And then in the days and weeks leading up to it, I look at that. And the week before, I look at my calendar and say, what do I need to do? What do I make sure I need to do? Well, I need to make sure that because Christmas is coming up, I need to write thank you notes. So I'm going to add that on here, and in between seeing patients and keeping up with those things, I'm going to write thank you notes. Oops, I'm like messing with my mouse here. So that's basically how I time block. So that's on here. So now when I look at my watch, it actually says write thank you notes because that's today. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, I want to share with you one more thing. I know that it's hard as physicians to like keep track of your time and focus on what matters most. It's really easy to get overwhelmed. It's really easy to feel defeated or feel like you're drowning because you can never catch up. And there's a lot of specifics. You know, there's lots of good time management books out there, but I find that a lot of physicians say, well, that's great if it was a 9-to-5 job where I sat at my desk and I had complete control over my schedule. I didn't have call responsibilities. I didn't have these urgent things from patients that need me. What can we do for physicians? Well, I created something that I think that you might find helpful. It's called On Time MD. MD is just because I wanted it to be something that was catchy. It works for DOs just as well. There's nothing MD specific about it, but .do is not a recognized domain because it's too close to .doc. .md is actually the country code for Moldova. Sorry for the aside. On Time MD. It is a time management course for physicians. It's 6 weeks long. You get one module every week. Over 6 weeks, you learn all the strategies to reclaim your time to focus on what only you can do. So, whoops. I meant to actually scroll, not zoom. So what you can do is if you go to ontimemd.com, you'll find you can end pajama charting for good. You can increase your work satisfaction. You can spend more time doing things that you love, less time doing scut work. You can decrease your stress levels. You can learn to effectively delegate. That's one of the main things that I hear from physicians is this course was totally worth it because I learned how to delegate in a way that didn't just feel like dumping on my staff. I have a whole module on how to delegate without dumping so that your staff feel empowered and engaged to work on your behalf, and you're not just dumping tasks on them, but you're able to do more because you do less. And to stop bringing work home with you. That's what most people at the end of the day want. The trainings are on your own time because your time is valuable, and you might have time at 5 in the morning or on your commute or over your lunch or in the evening while you're doing dishes. And we talk through all the different areas where physicians have to figure out how to manage their time better. So in the exam room, how to work with patients to maximize the time that you have with them rather than getting pulled into a room, rather than, oh, by the way, stuff right at the time when you're leaving where you get pulled back in, how to communicate with them in an effective way, and to manage the time between patients. So the time when you go from room 1 to room 2, what do you do in between there and how can you use that time effectively? How to manage your time in your EHR and your inbox, which physicians really struggle with. But I've got really good strategies that I lay out in there. How to delegate with your staff so that you don't feel like you're dumping on them, but you're giving them what they need to be successful in helping manage what's going on in your world. In the hospital, so if you're rounding or having to go to the hospital for something, or if that's where you primarily work is at the hospital, and in meetings, and then time management at home, because at the end of the day, you want to go home and you want to spend time doing what only you can do, which is showing up for your spouse, showing up with your kids, relaxing and enjoying. But if you are getting bogged down in all the stuff that you have to do once you leave the office, and it's a burden to then go home and do all those things, we talk about how to get a handle on that, which, by the way, the bottom line is you can't do it all. You can get help. Just like you delegate scut work at work to your staff members so they can help you, you can delegate scut work at home to other people like Instacart, like your neighbor that wants to mow the lawn for you, all those things that you can do. It's a 6-week program, and I would love for you to take a look at it. Totally expect that you will learn so much from it, and if you don't, we'll just give you your money back. It has the best money back guarantee that I've ever seen for any online course because I want you to be satisfied with it, and if you're not, you just email and say, hey, this wasn't worth my time. We'll send you your money back. Not a big deal at all. So check out OnTimeMD and comment below if you have another time management question. I love talking about time management and how to best use your time so that you can focus on what only you can do as a physician. And so I would love it if you did OnTimeMD, and if not, please share a comment below of what you would like to have better time management on so we can talk about it in the next video. And try time blocking. It works amazing. It tells me that I need to get back to seeing patients now. Keep up the good work.